I'm Halloran Hilton Hill.
I'm Cheryl Jones.
And this is Chance or Fate.
On Chance or Fate, we'll explore stories of strange phenomena, odd coincidences, miraculous outcomes, and incredible happenings.
And the stories are all true. They're taken from history and from the news, from places all over the world. They're not stories of the paranormal, although some may touch on the paranormal.
They're mostly stories about regular people who encounter situations that are strange or unbelievable, and events that make us ask, was it chance or was it fate?
Our first story, called The Navigating Coffin, starts in 1899. Charles Francis Coughlin, the famous Canadian actor and playwright from Prince Edward Island, an island located right off the east coast of Canada, died of a heart attack while performing in the theater of Galveston, Texas. He was touring with his play, The Royal Box. He was buried in the local cemetery. On September 8, 1900, less than a year after the burial, the deadliest hurricane in the history of the United States hit Galveston, killing 6,000 people. These strong floodwaters washed the coffin of Charles Coughlin from the grave. Then the coffin was pushed by the current to the Gulf of Mexico. From there, it circumnavigated the entire coast of Florida, and then it was pushed northward. In 1908, some 8 years later, fishermen from Prince Edward Island, Coughlin's home island, spotted the casket on the water. They pulled it ashore. And to their amazement, read the name of their famous local actor on the coffin lid. The coffin had been sailing for thousands of miles to return home. So Charles Coughlin was buried in the garden of the church where he was christened, and where today he still rests in peace. Was it chance, or was it fate?
What a story, Halloran. That's a bit spooky.
It is.
Was it absolutely true?
It's been disputed in recent years. The story was first reported by Robert Ripley in 1924 in his Believe It or Not column, and some people accuse him of making the whole thing up. In fact, some people adamantly deny the story, but then there are others who swear by it.
So you believe it?
Well, we know a couple of things for certain. Number one, the casket was washed out of the grave in Galveston, and it did end up on Prince Edward Island.
And it floated all the way from Galveston to Prince Edward Island?
Well, let's just say it didn't fly there.
Well, it's a phenomenal story.
It's a great story. Cheryl, I understand you have a great story for us, a fish story.
That's right, Halloran. I understand you're a fisherman?
I love to fish.
Well, this story happened in a country where everybody loves to fish.
Is it about the one that got away?
Well, no, but it's just the opposite. It's similar to your story in that it's about something finding its way home.
Really?
Lost possessions seeking their owners is a phenomenon that occurs more often than one might think. Our next story happened in 1979 in the coastal backcountry of Norway. Robert Johansen was 15 years old. He lived with his grandmother, Thekla Annen. Robert loved to fish. In fact, he'd go fishing every day, usually with negligible results. But he persevered. Every day he would fish in the same spot on the fjord close by. Some of the other boys in town would tease him and laugh at him because he fished so much and rarely caught anything. But Robert didn't mind. He really didn't seem to care if he caught anything or not. He just enjoyed the act of fishing. But one day, it was a normal summer day like any other. In the late afternoon, Robert's luck changed. It was a big one. Robert was now the envy of his friends. On the way home, Robert ran into a neighbor. The neighbor offered to buy the fish. Robert refused, and then the man doubled his offer. Robert was tempted, but something told him this was a special fish. This fish was not for sale. Robert took the fish home to his grandmother Thecla. She immediately decided to prepare that fish for the evening meal. And what happened next was unbelievable. While Robert was putting away his fishing gear, he heard screams coming from the kitchen. His grandmother had discovered a diamond ring in the stomach of the fish. And to his amazement, she told him it was her diamond ring. It was a family heirloom and that she had lost it 10 years before while fishing in the fjord. So after 10 years, Thecla Annen's diamond ring that had belonged to her mother and her grandmother returned home. Was it chance? Or was it fate?
Wow, what a story. What strikes me is it's the grandmother, Thecla. She's the one that was fishing 10 years ago and lost the ring.
Absolutely. In Norway, everyone loves to fish.
Is it believed that the ring was in the belly of the fish for 10 years?
It seems unlikely to me. What possibly could have happened, another explanation, is that the ring could have ended up on the bottom of the fjord, and the fish came along. It could have been a day before, a week before, a month before, who knows, and just swallowed the whole thing up.
Pretty amazing, too, that he almost let it get away.
Absolutely. He almost sold it to his neighbor.
Yeah, but something told him not to. So, was that chance?
Or fate.
Either way, it's a really remarkable story. I understand you have another incredible story, a remarkable story involving a coincidence.
That's right. A major coincidence where timing, the split-second timing of two events and a misconception affected a major outcome.
Wow, this sounds serious.
It is serious, Halloran. Actually, a man's life was saved.
Really?
It happened in 1989, somewhere in the Midwest. A hard-working garage mechanic, we'll call the man Joe to protect his privacy, was beset with problems. A failing business, a nagging wife, and the end of his marriage. Problems that were overwhelming for Joe. In the same town at the same time, another man, we'll call him Reverend Watson, had problems too. Not serious problems, but problems nevertheless. As the day wore on, Joe became more and more despondent. He was tormented by his problems. Each man was searching for a solution to his problem at exactly the same time.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
A coincidence and a misconception saved Joe's life. Was it chance or was it fate?
Wow, and to think a split-second difference in the timing of that phone call would have resulted in an entirely different outcome.
That's right. The miracle was in the timing.
And in the name of the church.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing. Well, on to our next story, which involves timing too. It happened over a 50-year period and takes us back to World War II and the island of Iwo Jima, the scene of one of the bloodiest and fiercest battles of the war. In 1945, February, Marine Corporal John Cummings was with the second wave of Marines invading the island. Iwo was a stark and barren wasteland of volcanic rock and ice. The Japanese were dug in an elaborate network of bunkers and tunnels carved into the rock. There was very little cover for the advancing Americans. By the second day, Corporal Cummings' company had made its way off the beach up to the second airfield under heavy fire from the enemy.
As I remember, the lieutenant says we're going to try and take the second airfield, and it was quite a distance from the beach to that second airfield, and there was no cover at all. There wasn't even a blade of grass, and it was very open. So when he said we're going to move out, I had a gut feeling here. It was just hard to explain that we're going right into the enemy. So we made it to the second airfield, okay, and we got pinned down right away. They were shooting at us. As soon as you picked your head up, you got shot. The guy on the right of me got it right in the head, and the man next to me, he got it right in the head. And I prayed. I said, Lord, I know I'm going to get it. Please let it be a clean one. So you don't quit fighting, even though you're pinned down. So I threw a grenade, and I lifted my head, shoot. Bang, I got it. Right through the neck, come out the back.
Cummings was shot through the neck. He was still alive, though. At this point, he thought there was no hope. But then something miraculous happened. A Marine, whom Cummings didn't know, had never seen before, suddenly appeared. He put him on a poncho and dragged him across the battlefield through heavy fire from the Japanese. He dragged him over 50 yards to a place that was safe from the enemy's bullets. The man who saved his life then disappeared, and Cummings never saw him again until 50 years later. At a Marine reunion in Washington, D.C., John Cummings happened to meet Dwight Ryan. The men began to tell each other war stories. Both men had been on Iwo Jima, and both remembered the same story.
We were at a reunion in Washington, D.C., and we were walking out of the hotel to go to a meeting, and we got to talking, like so many war stories, and we were comparing notes, and he was telling me about, oh, this guy should have got a medal, he was doing this, and he got shot through the neck. And I said, hey, that was me. And
I couldn't believe it.
yeah.
By chance, after 50 years, John Cummings finally met Dwight V. Ryan, the man who had saved his life on Iwo Jima.
We got shelled so bad on that one airfield that I couldn't have bit a cracker. My teeth hurt so bad from gritting them like that, getting down in there. They just hurt awful, you know.
And
You just can't imagine that
yeah.
they're showing you.
And I was on that hospital ship, and we were anchored just off Mount Suribachi. And then the announcement came over the PA system. They said, they raised the flag on Iwo Jima, on Mount Suribachi. And I said, yay, you can't believe it's real that we had that flag up there. And, you know, that meant we had control of that high ground.
Cheryl, the two men became fast friends. They stayed in touch with each other for the rest of their lives.
It was a great experience, and
Wouldn't want to go through it again.
But like I said, it was joy meeting this guy, and he thought I was dead. He said, I thought you died. But we've been meeting ever since. We come and we keep in touch.
That's right.
Was it chance or was it fate?
Every doctor that has ever examined me, I got a big scar in the back. And they said, what is that scar? I said, well, I had a gunshot. They said, gunshot? I said, yeah, I got shot right through the neck. They turned. It's unbelievable. It missed everything. It's got to be a miracle. I said, yes, it was a miracle.